If
This
you have,
conference will now be recorded.
okay, I'm just being told we're being recorded. That's dangerous. Here we go. Okay. But okay. Anything that you can see in those minutes that is not in order? Otherwise, we'll take them as read.
Yeah, they look pretty straightforward. I had forgotten what we had discussed.
Right, fair enough. Then I'm going to pass it on to Eric because it's now down to Eric to bring Chris in to give us an update on retail strategies. Eric, you're up.
Okay.
Wait, do you want someone to approve? I make a motion to approve the minutes.
No, it's not necessary, Elaine, but thanks anyway.
Okay, good afternoon. We're glad everyone was able to join us. We actually, due to the COVID-19 and the uncertainty time, we did cancel our April meeting. So we're glad to see everybody's smiling faces to this May meeting. The agenda pretty speaks for itself. We have Chris and Madison from Retail Strategists to give us an update. Glad to have Chris and Madison join us today. And with that, I'll turn it over to Chris.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Eric. You guys have to forgive me if I'm looking around. I have a bunch of screens and I haven't quite gotten used to just staring at the camera yet. But hope everyone's doing well. I mean, Eric and I were talking about the pandemic a little bit earlier. But how's everyone holding up? Does it seem to be everyone's keeping sane, or is anyone on the verge of losing their minds yet? Well, me, I'm about to lose my mind. So, you know, I'm very much used to traveling a lot, and I haven't been in an airplane in about 3 months. So it's kind of starting to get to my brain. But so what? I'm glad that we're able to get some time with you guys today. Since it's been a while since I came out there and was able to actually talk to the board directly, what I told Eric, what I wanted to do is give just kind of a timeline of where we are, where we've been, and then of course next steps, so we get an idea of where we're going during the current pandemic, and then of course once all this blows over, hopefully soon. But Eric, were you able to provide the update timeline to everyone, or do I just need to read through it?
You just need to read through it. I've not sent it to edit version yet. Okay,
that's fine. Well, I'll read through it, and then you guys will have access to it afterwards, and then if you guys, you know, of course, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. First, I'll introduce you to Madison. Last time all of us got together, Madison was not with us yet, but Madison works directly for me. He is in charge of really spearheading outreach and reach out to those prospects and those all the property owners that were identified during your recruitment plan. We brought Madison on right after the retail academy that Lacey and I came out there and conducted with you guys. So Madison's been with us here for a few months, and I'll start going through the recruitment update. So I know you guys don't have this in front of you, so forgive me if I'm looking off, but so if you guys remember, the way that this is, the way that the process is set up is first part of the process is the first 90 days is called the discovery phase, and the goal of the discovery phase is to come into the market, and this starts from day one with the agreement being signed, come into the market and start that analysis. The first 30 days of the discovery phase is purely devoted to the data analysis, pulling that data information, and then providing those findings back to the point of contact. So in this case, Eric, and then also Josh. So Eric and Josh have guided us along the way once that initial data was pulled. And I should have started by saying this. All of this information is provided to both Eric and Josh in real time via the Basecamp platform. And so any information that can't be shared in a public forum, it's all on Basecamp from day one until present day. And both of those guys have access to that. So the first 30 days are dedicated to the data, and then the next, so it's broken up into 3 sections. The day 30 through day 60, what is when we traditionally get into the real estate, and then also identifying those prospects. Those culminate in a list of those properties that are identified during that process. Those are submitted to the city, and then also the prospects are submitted to the city. So once that is submitted, then we receive feedback from the points of contact on any kind of history with those prospects, anyone that's the city's gone after, or any kind of whiffs, anything that has come and gone, or so get as much feedback as possible pertaining to those individual retailers. And then from day 60 to day 90, all of that information is compiled into the let's see. Sorry, I just got this message from Eric. That's a good idea. Let me see if I can. Sorry, guys. That might be a little bit better, Eric. Eric just asked me if I want to try to share my screen. I'm not sure if I can, but let me try.
Dave, can you give him access to share his screen, Dave?
Here we go.
And if anyone has any questions or anything, please feel free to type in the chat session it should be it's on my right on my screen.
All right, perfect. Can you guys see the update now? All right. Well, perfect. This is much easier. All right. So that's the day 60 through day 90 is all of the findings are compiled, and then they are all put into that recruitment plan. In the case of Lago Vista, so normally we will at day 90 we will deliver a recruitment plan with all of those findings. In the case of you guys, you guys actually opted for the full Retail Academy. And if you for everyone that was involved in the Retail Academy, remember it's a full day engagement. We come into the community, and I mean, gosh, I think it's like a 5 or 6 hour delivery of those findings. And then also the educational piece on what to do once you have those prospects identified. So in your case, you guys actually opted for that Retail Academy, which is not normally something that comes standard with the engagement, but with you guys, that was part of what was provided in your package. And then once that recruitment plan is delivered, then that is usually the kickoff point for the actual active recruitment. If you guys remember way back to almost day one, we actually the timeline moved around a little bit because, like I said, normally recruitment doesn't start until day 90, but with you guys, recruitment actually started almost day one because we tied in that first visit to the community around the Retail Live conference that was held in back in Austin on, I think it was right here. So our first visit was on the 20th, and then the Retail Live conference was on the 21st. So normally you wouldn't see anything like that until about 3 months in, or at least 3 months in, depending on what the conference schedule looks like at that time. To fast forward back to once everything is delivered, then the real recruitment really starts at that point. During that time, here's a couple of different things that occurred during that time, including a downtown walkability analysis. It's something that we've brought on. Actually, it came on around the same time as you guys did. We have a lady that's come onto the company that specializes in downtown revitalization. And I know that you guys have a lot of you guys have some efforts and some some future vision of what you guys would like a downtown to look like in the community. So we actually set up a time with her and Eric and I, and we went through her initial analysis of what a basically the walkability analysis gives you a grade based off of the current state of what your downtown is, and with ideas and suggestions on moving forward. That was presented to Eric at that time. If you guys have any questions on that, please let me know. But admittedly, I'm not an expert at all in anything downtown. So, but I can get you answers to it if you guys do have any questions. So, once that discovery phase is completed, then we get into the recruitment phase. And let's see. Okay. So the recruitment phase, as it consists of contacting all those local property owners and then also the prospects. And then once interest is received, then obviously the next step is to connect those parties and then start massaging those relationships. So here's a quick update of where we are as far as the recruitment phase. The first step of that is the delivery of the retail city site. And that is also it's also something that was delivered on Basecamp. And basically what that is, that city site it's a digital landing web page landing page that we create for our client communities, and it's all of the information that was derived during the recruitment phase, and we're able to package that up into a digital version where in order to share. So if you run across someone in your day-to-day that has questions on concerning data or real estate or anyone interested in moving to the community, this is a digital platform for you guys to be able to share. And so that the construction of that web page starts at the beginning of that recruitment, or the beginning of the recruitment phase, and then it's delivered. And that was delivered back in January. As far as prospecting is concerned, and as I mentioned, I apologize if I've become redundant, but the retail recruitment prospect list was provided through the Basecamp, as I mentioned. There were 54 total prospects identified for the community, and out of those 54, so far we have active feedback from 26 of the 54. So right around 50%. On average, that's a little above average for depending on city engagement. Normally at this point, or even a little farther in, around right now we're at 9 months into the first year. We're a little bit farther back as far as percentage-wise of total prospects that have we've gotten feedback from. But this past year, we've gotten some really good feedback from folks. So right now, we're at 26 total, and it's split right down the middle as far as rejections versus interest in the market. To delve a little bit into rejections, I can provide all of the detailed information has been provided to both Josh and Eric, but a lot of the rejections we don't get our minds wrapped around rejection a whole lot, because it's not necessarily a no, we're not ever coming to Lago Vista. It's more of a no, not for now. And a lot of them is just completely out of our control, out of the market's control. And it's a lot of it, as you know, expansion plans. Some of them are just, and as you guys have seen, especially during this pandemic, the retail, the retail and restaurant makeup is in for a huge shakeup right now. So expansion plans that were, that were active right before COVID, of course, some of those are different. With that being said, some of them are still the same and some of them are stronger. So depending on the health of the company before the pandemic started. It depends on kind of where they are and how aggressive they are in finding new locations now. So as far as current parties interested in the market, we're right at around 13 as well. I say if you guys want a full breakdown, that is provided by Basecamp. But of course, we shy away from sharing anything like that on in a public forum like this, so in the risk of spooking any of those potential prospects. So but if anyone has any questions specifically about prospecting, I'll leave this to Eric and Josh. And but if we need to, we can we can talk to folks in other ways, but just not in public forums, as I've mentioned before. As far as shifting real quickly, that's where we started, and that's where we are. As I mentioned, we're around the 90-day mark. I'm gonna move around my timeline a little bit, and Eric and I got to talking about the way the disruption that the pandemic is causing for really just business as usual, especially the conferences and our conference recruitment process. The big thing and the big show for us is the Las Vegas ICSC show out in Las Vegas, and that was actually built into your service agreement. And so Eric expressed some concern about the disruption and not being able to for us not to be able to represent the community at the conference. So what we talked about and what we came up with was actually extending the first year of the engagement, because right now you guys were set, of course, to the first year ends in August. And so what we as a solution to make up for the ICSC show, there is actually the Retail Live Austin show that we have that we actually started with. Has been moved to September 2nd, and actually that is going to be the first conference back from, as of right now, unless something crazy happens. That's going to be the first conference back from the COVID-19 shutdowns. So we're really looking forward to that conference. It's September 2nd is the date for that. And so what Eric and I talked about was actually adding 2 months to the end of your year one. So we'll be able to encompass that conference, and then you guys will be able to, we'll have the feedback from that conference going into that next year. So what to expect at that point. So normally at year one, which will now be, it won't be in August, but it'll actually be in October now, you get a full report back from basically this here, but just expanded, much more detailed. It's about, I was telling Eric, it's about a 7 or 8 page report, and it's line by line detail of all the information that has been delivered. There are 2 versions of that. There's the one for public consumption, like that would be presented to something like this, and then there's the confidential update as well for those that are privy to the confidential information. And then going from that, of course, that is it's a good entryway to talk about the COVID-19 situation. I know that you guys are putting a lot of, Eric is telling me, he's done a lot to provide the information to the local businesses from the state resources and the federal government resources. So one of the things that we as a company have been doing so we've all been homebound for, I guess, 6 or 7 weeks now. Luckily we're able to, since a lot of the work that we're able to do is remotely, and we're used to traveling anyway, so actually able to continue to do that work from home. The only difference now is really putting a lot of weight behind local business support and helping the client communities with their local business support. So with that being said, if there is anything that you guys have done during this time to support your local businesses, or you found creative and obscure ways to support those guys. We want to collect those success stories. We want to collect those best practices, and then what we're doing during this time is collecting the best practices and then sharing it with other client communities. So at the beginning of this, we said, since there is a huge network across the country with clients that we're working with, that there would be a lot of crossover between economic development offices and then city entities where we can share ideas. So if you guys have found anything that has been successful, or there are questions that are kind of unanswered, if there is anything that you found that you just haven't found an answer to, send it over to us, and we will we'll put our brains together and try to we'll either take your best practices and then share those with others, or vice versa. And more than likely, someone else out there has the answers to those problems. All of these, during this time, we've provided any kind of COVID resources that we found. We've provided those through Basecamp to the client communities. So ask Eric or Josh if you guys want to access any of that stuff, or if you want to contact me directly and I can send it to you guys directly. All of that stuff is, of course, created for public consumption. But so with that is what I have. That's what I have as far as an update. And then I wanted to just open it up for whatever questions that you guys have. Let's see.
Chris, do you have an idea of the number of retailers that are going to be signed up for the Retail Live in September? Have they indicated, what participation they expect to have?
Not yet. That's actually a very good question. The previous year, which was of course during normal circumstances, I think there were around 90 last year, which is very large for this show. And I imagine unless the relief from the pandemic doesn't go as planned, I imagine that it'll probably be just as big, if not larger. Unless, of course, there's some lingering effects, and then maybe people are afraid to attend. But I imagine it'll probably be about the same. I think it's going to be a fairly large attendance.
Okay, so if I've understood this correctly, then Chris, the results of your efforts have all been funneled back to Eric and Josh via this Basecamp system.
Yes, sir.
So they have the details of the 26 responses and the 13 positive responses and so on and so forth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like I said, we can't share anything specific in a public forum.
Right. Well, then I just encourage Eric to share it with us. I know he does generally.
In a non-public forum, right? That's, Chris, one of the things, and back to Clive's point there is, what we look at as potentially, whether the world opens back up or not, the drive is for economic development opportunities here in Lago. And Eric and I have been on a project today interacting with a potential new business. And so when we're getting this information back from Chris and his team, our challenge is to make sure that Eric has the follow-up with the business, and then that Eric gets it into the hopper on the city side in terms of how to navigate through different departments. So for example, the one business today has questions on what do they have to do through the developmental process? Is there a rezoning process that they need to go through? Then they always seem to come back to any type of incentive programs. And then what is the community as a whole? How does that work? So, I think our challenge is to get Chris to get that hook set, and then to hand the rod over to Eric to bring able to pull it in. Sorry, I just keep thinking about fishing a lot lately, but the goal is we want to catch the fish and we want to eat. And that's the critical element. We had another local business owner call us today who's working with one of the people that we're working with, trying to pull everything together. So that's a perfect, I don't even know the word, but it's a perfect partnership to try and make some of these happen. Like I said, especially now during a pandemic response.
Well, Josh, that's a good point. And I'll kind of talk on that a little bit more. You can ask Madison. It's the pandemic has been interesting, but it's kind of gone in waves as far as what businesses are doing, or like what they're willing to talk about, and like what their plans are. But a lot of the biggest overall theme, especially for businesses that are faring well, is that they're preparing. They're kind of keeping their powder dry. They're preparing for when this finally does break, and so that they can expand. And something Madison mentioned to me this week was it seems like the past 2 weeks, they're really turning it back on, especially once the government started lifting some of this stuff. People are getting excited. The confidence is going up. So it's a pause, but it's almost a pause where the work can continue, just to be ready. Once everything is ready to go, then they can kind of pull the trigger, if that makes sense. It looks like we lost Josh.
Yeah.
Josh, not a
Josh,
meeting, but I will elaborate on that too as well, because the prospect that me and Josh was talking about, Chris has had conversation with that same prospect, and I think it's who they feel comfortable with. And a lot of times they're like, Josh, they're fishing. Chris got a different answer than what I got, and I got a different answer. So it just depends on who you're talking to at that point in time. So I think a lot of time they're fishing until they sign a contract or spending their money. I like to say that it's not a definite at any time until none of those things happen. So just to share that with you.
Yeah, and I think the value there, Eric, is also when we're getting different answers, you can kind of take 30% of what they tell you and 30% of what they tell me and another party, and then assume that that's the truth. And so it's just a multi-pronged approach rather than just they can tell us anything. So I think it makes it much easier to attack it from different angles.
Okay, then I'm sorry, Eric, you were speaking.
I was saying, anybody have any more questions for Chris or Madison?
I don't think I do. No, they're obviously following the process that was outlined to us in the initial stages. So, I guess we must appreciate the fact that we've got a 2-month extension on our first 1-year contract. Better than a poke in the eye with a stick. It's distressing that Vegas isn't going to happen, but I'm not entirely sure that Vegas is where Lago Vista should be looking for new businesses anyway. It makes a lot more sense to me that you ramp up to that, sort of starting at a regional basis. So we just cross our fingers and hope that the Austin convention is as popular as it was last year. And it sounds that any questions that we have about the details of the materials that Chris and Madison have brought to us, we just talk to you, Eric, and Josh about that. That's fine.
And and let me add to that, since the show is in September, of course, next time that we talk, everyone talks to each other, hopefully we can all do that in person. So I was actually meaning to get out there this summer, of course, earlier, but this is thrown off, all of our plans off the rails.
Hey, Chris, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
With the COVID-19 pandemic, and you working with other cities, has there been any strategies that you've had to do with other cities in relationship to the existing restaurants and businesses that exist in the towns?
So what we're doing is, so a lot of it is, of course, local led and providing the resources to the locals to do so. And a lot of that has gone through. We've had a lot of webinars that we've hosted, specific tasks or specific support that we provided for communities. Right now, in one of my communities, we're actually holding town hall meetings for the local businesses. As you imagine, this community is much larger than Lago Vista is, so they were having issues with getting all the restaurant and business owners to the table to get feedback from them and what they needed. So we're holding periodic roundtables through Zoom to get that feedback. So specifically, we had a hotel roundtable, a restaurant roundtable, non-restaurant retail, and so it gives the owners an opportunity to kind of come out and say, all right, this is what we've done, this is what we need, and so just find more ways to support. We've created a lot of different marketing materials for community. It's a common theme, especially when you start getting into larger communities. It's a common theme of just trying to get in front of those businesses and just trying to find more ways to connect with them. So there's been various ways and that we've been providing support. Like I said, if there are any kind of black holes or anything that you really haven't found an answer to, please let us know, and then we can try to find an answer. And that's I think if you ask me, that's probably the biggest thing that we're doing, is just kind of being used as a kind of a think tank for the local communities.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't know, but from the perspective of our local businesses, the restaurants and so on, the ones that are trying to survive, their biggest concern is getting the word out that they're still alive,
Right.
and open to any extent or degree. This is a town that used to have a local newspaper. That is gone. We have very, very few ways of communicating with our community. The city has done a remarkably good job introducing this new app and so on, which can promote local businesses, local activities, and so on and so forth, if it's required. But it seems like every day the complaint from our local businesses is, how do we reach our customers? How do we reach out there and remind them to shop local, for God's sake? If you're going to go out and get a burger, get it locally. Don't bring it in a frozen basket from Costco. But that's just an ongoing problem with a small community like ours.
So one of the things that we've done, specifically in regards to shop local, a lot of the communities that we work with are placing they're doing of course it's different ways because everyone has different funding types, but one specific example is they're doing like a shop local contest, and they were basing it off, one community specifically was basing it off of a spending contest, and whoever spent the most money at local restaurants and local businesses throughout the month, they mailed or they scanned their receipts in, and then at the end of the month those are all compiled, and then they had like 4 or 5 different rewards that they would give, and then they would provide gift cards to the winners, and then those gift cards are of course sourced from within the community as well. So not only do you get spending from the contest, but then you also get the boost. The business gets the boost from the gift card then being purchased from within the community. And then a lot of communities are doing gift card initiatives, very much like a lot of Chamber of Commerces do these types of things. Historically, even outside of pandemics, they'll do that historically where it just really gets the information out there where people can go and buy gift cards for those local businesses, run campaigns, and a lot of cities and EDCs are actually doing matches. So, and like I said, it's not one size fits all because everyone has different resources. But there's some different creative things that people are doing. But that's to specifically address that, to drive more shop local traffic. That's something that we've seen.
Yeah, I think one other thing that makes it difficult for restaurants and businesses is going to be trying to get the comfort level of the residents to feel comfortable going back out to eat or going to this particular business. I mean, even if you go into Cedar Park, you're still leery of going to restaurants. You're still leery of going to Home Depot where people are walking around. There's no mask, there's no nothing. So I think if there's something that you have that shows what the best practices are, or that some other restaurants and some other businesses are doing to give the people the comfort level that they need, that would be helpful.
Okay.
Yeah. Great.
Now, what kind of feedback are you guys getting from the community? Are folks going? Are they traveling outside of the community to purchase, or for the? Do you think you have right now? Do you think you have a lot escaping the community, or are people mostly just kind of at home, just waiting it out?
No, I think, Chris, it's almost certainly a mixed bag. I know our local grocery store has been going gangbusters,
Right.
busier than the Dickens, which means people are not rushing into H-E-B and Walmart quite as much as they used to do. But then again, we try to tell people we're a young community, but it's not true. We're actually an older community. We have a lot of retirees around here, and most of those, us, although I'm not yet retired, are hanging around the house. That we're not rushing anywhere. Although I have come across people that have reacted completely contrary to the way I would have expected them to. One in particular, just without naming names, this is a fireman who goes to Cedar Park deliberately because he's ticked off at people asking him to wear a mask in Lago Vista. It's just weird. I don't get that at all. Anyway, so yeah, I'm sure there's still a lot of leakage, no doubt about that. There's just not enough retail businesses, groceries, restaurants, or anything to supply all the local demand. But at the same time, this lockdown has certainly brought more of a local focus, and I think you see that in all our established retail, the hardware stores, and as I said, our one supermarket and so on.
Right. Now, are you guys on that? That made me think. Are you guys providing any kind of PPE support or anything like that? Because that's something we've been seeing is actually communities with their shop local campaigns, actually like EDCs or cities themselves finding ways to provide those PPE materials to the businesses and for their workers, especially now that things are starting to open up. As far as we've seen examples of giving away hand sanitizer to businesses, giving masks away, just so they're prepared. And then also, one of the things that one of the communities that we work with that they've done is actually they're running a campaign where they actually created like a door sticker, like a chamber would do, where you say like have the chamber member sticker, but in this case, it's a door sticker that basically says that they're meeting all of the they're meeting all the safety precautions that have been advised, and then the city, and it's kind of like a certified stamp, we're meeting those safety requirements. The city or the EDC recognizes this, and so and then they're even promoting that to the citizens, saying this business and this business, they're certified. They've got hand sanitizer. They've got all the stuff. They have cleaning requirements put in place. So it's really, it's just really another way of marketing that. And in that case, that may be something to encourage Lago Vista citizens, if that's a big concern, maybe run some type of campaign like that.
Yeah.
How would we do that as we don't have our own health department? Wouldn't that be something that would be more mandated by this county? I mean, I would think that would be hard for the city to say, we've authenticated that these folks are safe. That seems like a huge liability.
So from a liability standpoint, they're not providing any kind of like official certification or official mandate. It's really more of a campaign. And specifically from a liability standpoint, you're absolutely right. You don't really have any kind of health authority to do so. So it's really just kind of a check the box. You have the materials, then and it's more of a marketing campaign than anything.
Chris, in Texas, you did have to wear a mask a couple weeks ago, and now you don't.
Mm-hmm.
So the rules have been lightened up by our governor. So it would be hard to determine, but some of our businesses are sticking with requirements to keep their employees safe. So it really is up to the businesses.
Right.
What I would like to say is our businesses are busier, our grocery store is, because of the local people. What we're missing is a big chunk of tourists that bring business in,
Mm-hmm.
and that people are not able to vacation. We do have some timeshare people that are coming in anyway, had plans and want to do stuff, but as far as our county park and people that would come and stay and do Airbnb, that's a big percentage. We missed spring break, and now we're missing summer vacation, and that is very impactful to our local businesses. And I'm wondering if you have any other vacation kind of locations that maybe they're doing something that you could suggest for us?
So I think that's the ultimate gotcha question. I think the tourism, just by the design of the situation, the tourism almost has no answer. I talk, and I know this doesn't relate to you guys since you don't have a big hotel presence, but with like hotel developers and hoteliers that we talk to pretty regularly, those guys, out of everyone, hotels are getting hammered through this situation because there's no reprieve, and that's due to the tourism. I wish I had an answer for that one, but the tourism's, I think, the hardest question. But if I find something, I will certainly forward it on to you guys.
And to piggyback on that, for the retail live events, I'm already registered for that, and
Okay, good.
we have a couple of months before that. So, and I think Chris and Madison will be given if the COVID-19 gods let us, they will be doing an in-person update to council in late July. So I think they'll probably be looking at the last meeting in July for them to come down and do an update to council. If that's still correct, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
So we will we will speak with Chris again before the retail live event.
Yeah, I said, knock on wood, if we're allowed. Worst case scenario, we will definitely be out there if we aren't able to do it in July, we'll definitely be able to come out there in September as part of the retail live event. So either way, we'll definitely be out there.
Good. We'll look forward to that. Thank you, Chris. And Madison, we've not heard much from you, but it was good to see you.
Absolutely. Nice to meet all of you.
Right. Eric, can we let these guys off the hook now, do you think?
Yeah, we can, because when I first met Madison, I thought he was a female, and Madison, like, I get that all the time. So I mean,
I get it a lot for sure.
He actually had to grow the beard out just to prove that he wasn't.
Exactly.
Well, guys, it was great talking to you. Eric,
thank y'all.
Thank you.
Eric, we'll follow up after the call.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Talk to you guys soon.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay, Eric, I'm going to pass this back to you since we have nothing else officially on the agenda. Do you have anything to report? I know I don't. As far as economic development is concerned, you know, we've missed a couple of months here, and I don't do anything for economic development when I'm sitting at home. Sorry.
Yes, we've reached out to the local businesses, and now we've still been doing a regional effort. And it's actually the governor's office contacted me. Integrated Metal, I think I got it correct again. It's kind of, I think it's in the ETJ. That Alago, is it Integrated Metal?
It doesn't. It's not ringing a bell. Sorry.
I don't know what it is.
Yes, they do a process, and it's on the ETJ line. I look at it, but they thought they could do PPE equipment. To answer your question, I called the actual owner. He said that they did have PPE equipment for their own employees, but they could not provide one. The state was looking for any community that could help provide PPE equipment, and they could not. They said they didn't have the process or the personnel to do that. But it was good that the governor's office did call out to Lago Vista seeking some type of assistance and send us on the map. On the regional part of that, we did have a couple of meetings with the Austin Chamber, Opportunity Austin, all the regional partners. And again, like you said, the restaurants some of them are doing well. The ones that are, I would say, the Chick-fil-A's and things of that nature that people are steady going to. Dairy Queen, I love Dairy Queen because I love the blizzard, and the line is wrapped around the building. Me and my daughter have to wait in the truck, 30 minutes to get a cup of ice cream. I think it's crazy. I can go, but we support it. And so they said that the thing is that like I think Councilman Williams said, that getting the people or getting the citizens to feel comfortable coming out again, encourage your restaurants, your business, hey, sanitize, put up barriers, just letting you know that, hey, we are COVID-19, we are taking precautions. Again, we can't mandate anything from the city, as we know, but if I was a restaurant owner and I want people to come into my place, I want to kind of make it as safe as possible in my own capability that I can, as far as letting the citizens know that, hey, we are sanitizing 2 or 3 times a day. We got barriers put up. We practice a 6 feet distance with our tables and chairs. So, that's what I've been at when I've been communicating. I've been encouraging them to continue to do that. And again, I said we just have to. We're in uncertain times, and it's COVID-19 has affected me, personally, because I've lost 2 relatives to COVID-19. Matter of fact, just lost one yesterday on Mother's Day in Louisiana, my aunt. So, but a lot of people are afraid to go out, and it's just, we have to make those choices. And on the state side, our economy. I mean, Lago Vista has a pretty much good medium household income, but a lot of the other communities, smaller communities in other states, don't have that. So people don't have the disposable income to even sometimes to go to these restaurants. We are blessed to have our jobs. I'm blessed to have my job, but when you think about not only COVID-19, the economic impact of this, as far as people having disposable income to spend, so it makes a big difference in those. I want to talk about, we have IEDC. I think I brought this up. The volunteer was supposed to come this summer. Her name is Sue Wright. She's with the ED director of Moss Point, Mississippi. Sue is scheduled to come down sometime this summer and meet with us. She's now looking at postponing it. Of course, we can September or doing something remote. I told her that I would speak about it today on our meeting, and we might want to check everybody's calendar, set up another Zoom where somebody can Zoom in and we can kind of talk to Sue and the IEDC representative about the thing that she can have. We get 40 hours of her volunteer time to help with any type of economic development objective that we have. And so before this, that was on yesterday, I did speak back to the IEDC representative, and he did state that she can do it remotely, or we can wait until she can, hopefully things get to change where she can come down in person. But might be something we can kind of look at our calendars and look at it, kind of get her to talk to us all on a Zoom.
Yeah, I think in an instance like that, Eric, if you think it's worthwhile to try and do a round robin conversation or a Zoom conversation and so on, just fire off an email to everybody, and then try and pick a date where the majority could get together and join you. And I don't think there's any point in trying to set a schedule at this stage. Just look at your calendar first and take it from there.
She had some ideas she had done in another city, but I told her I wanted the input from my committee before we go any forward. And then because if we're going to get 40 volunteer hours from her, I want those 40 volunteer hours to be useful to help us in any way that we can. So I will go ahead and send an email out. check her dates and send it to you guys.
Okay.
I don't have
I would
anything.
definitely
Go ahead. Uh-huh.
that we don't. I was just wanted to say a couple of things. Sorry, I wasn't at the last live meeting, and there's some of you that I haven't met yet. Robin, nice to see you. I'm Julie. Clyde's comment earlier about businesses not feeling like the community are supporting them or what have you. One thing that I've noticed out here is I feel like the consumers don't know when businesses are going to be open, and businesses have all varied hours. Is there some way we can enhance the app experience so that under like where it says, you know, here's the restaurants and it lists out the restaurants and it has info and it has details? Is there a way that we can interact with our business owners here to help them expand their details there and then, you know, further promote the app to our residents is one question. And then another one is, I would say not to put off working with this person because I think right now we have a real opportunity to highlight our existing businesses because I think most of them have really stepped up in this really questionable time. I've been a consumer at Lowe's in previous, it wasn't as well stocked, but they've stepped up right now. And so if we can help them through the next 2 or 3 months really connect with our community better, there's a platform for that. And I don't know if it, anyway, just that's what I'm thinking. How we act, and I keep saying this to everybody at Dairy Queen, is how we act in a time of uncertainty is really felt so much by our franchisees on my side, but in our community by our businesses. And so I know that's a lot of words, but just thinking there's an opportunity for us to create a bridge.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think Josh is the key person to talk to about, excuse me, about the app and developments inside the app. Julie, the thing I'm looking at it right now, and it has a little news button and an events button and attractions and a dining button, all of these. And I'm sure that somewhere in that we could find some way to promote the local businesses and make sure that their information is up to date. Whether or not we could join that to one of the campaigns that Chris was just talking about, I don't know.
To answer your question on the app fields can be enhanced. That is true, Julia. Whichever way that we see fit for it to be enhanced. So I will get with the app and Josh to see and pose that question to him. But the app fields can be enhanced. To answer your question, yes, it can.
Okay.
Did we answer the second part of your question, Julie? I'm not.
It was just really a comment about back to the lady who's the volunteer for 40 hours saying, I wouldn't see why we would want to put it off. I would highly recommend that we continue with that because I think also now we have an opportunity. You and I met and I talked about a lot of things I thought we could do together. We now have a couple extra months that Retail Live has been pushed back to put those materials together, and she could be a real great resource in kind of pulling that together. So.
And after this session, I will send out the retail strategist prospect list. Again, that list is confidential. It will have prospects. It will have businesses' names on there that if that gets out, they might be looking at Lago Vista. If that gets out, they might pull and look somewhere else. So please treat that as confidential. I will send you the full report out once this meeting is over.
Thank you, Eric. I would appreciate that.
David or Eric or Clive, I'm not sure who knows, but you know, when in preparation for, you know, going to companies, one of the things, do we have a good handle on available commercial real estate? You know, when we're trying to attract folks and talk to them, is there a resource somewhere that we can say, gosh, this, you know, commercial zoned, you know, site is available in Lago Vista? Do we have anything like that?
I gotta flash the logo again here, Julie.
That's why I didn't know. But it would be really great to be armed with that kind of stuff, especially when. What's that?
Yeah, I haven't updated it recently, but yes, we can and probably should have a central record of what is the known commercial available real estate. Not a lot of it, but it's hard to generate such a list. Okay, well, it's heading for, in fact, it's just hit 5 o'clock. So I'll ask now, has anybody else got anything more that they'd like to raise at this time? Yes,
would.
Don.
For one thing, I think we still have to have the vice president.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
And we've been putting that off until Julie made a presence, so that might be something.
Hey,
Also,
we're nominated. What do you say?
So she's here, so we can vote now, right?
Right.
Yes.
So,
Well, you know,
Let's make sure.
we have to ask Julie if she would willing to accept the honorific.
I heard it comes with a big paycheck, so the answer is yes.
Okay, I can't even see everybody that's on the committee on here at the moment, but all those in favor, please signify.
aye.
Aye. Thumbs.
Very good. Miss Julie Davis, you're in. Thank you very much indeed. It's a greatly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Did you have something, Don?
Just going along with what Eric was mentioning earlier, we really severely feel the lack of being able to communicate with our people. You know, we had talked about community impact before, and I think it's probably time to try to twist arms again. And if we could get some sort of, I don't know, some sort of common agreement among some of our local businesses or something, some sort of coalition that would maybe buy ads and so on and so forth. But I think that would be a worthwhile thing. But we know that.
Well, no, I agree with you. Community impact would be the ideal. Elaine, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that Hill Country News is still flogging the idea of a Lago Vista edition, and they have a page every now and again dedicated to chamber events and associated advertising. Is that right?
Yes, I get what's really graduated to even half a page on the first Thursday of each month. But there's nobody buying ads. There used to require 6 business card size ads to give us a page, but as that dwindled, they just keep giving us the page. I don't know the number of subscribers they have here, and I suspect it's very low. And the quality of newspaper community impact is so much better, but they would have to dedicate reporters out here. But I was involved with the last newspaper, the North Shore Star, and our businesses did not support advertising. And the concern I have is that with our businesses being down without this tourist dollars coming in, it would be a hard time to ask them to advertise. But one could say it's the best time too, because they need the business and
well, if you'll allow me to kind of go back a ways, we had sort of started coming up with an idea that I think is a viable idea. We know that right now that Lowe's, as Julie has mentioned and others have mentioned, is doing a land office business right now because of the situation. But we also know that 90% of the time that any of us out here gets a notion that we want to go shopping, we don't shop here. We go to Cedar Park. And that's the same situation with the people in Point Venture, the same situation with the people in Tessera and Treviso and so on and so forth. And somehow or another, we need to sell the idea or the concept that we are such strong consumers that we need to be taken care of by the folks that run businesses in Cedar Park, and that we're like an extension, a corridor of Cedar Park or the Cedar Park business community that that deserves attention. And we can't afford that much advertising right now, but we're a tremendous amount of consumer dollars. And if we could somehow or another get our information together and attack it from that point of view, not necessarily our advertising to be able to get a quarter of a page or anything like that. We have a lot of consumers that are spending a lot of money in this corridor, and especially in Cedar Park, Leander area. And, you know, we deserve attention. And if we deserve attention, then they can get local information and so on and so forth. It's one thing would build on the other.
Do all of the businesses in Lago Vista have a Facebook? Because we have found that there's a tremendous use of Facebook at the present time with lots of information that's put in it, and lots of people use it. You know, and we've done a lot of business with the local, especially the Ace store and Sun, the things we were looking for. Instead of going to Home Depot, we went and picked up things there, and they've been extremely helpful. And I think that somehow if there were a way to contact their Facebook pages and let them tell what they have available. Because it is very difficult to find a way to communicate what's happening.
Well, the stores you just mentioned, which is Lowe's, Sun Hardware, and Ace, have been extremely busy, and their business has been booming. Okay,
Yes.
the ones I'm concerned about are the smaller stores, the restaurants, the eyeglass place, the pet store probably did well too, also. But you know, the hair salons and everything else, there's been so many mixed messages between what the governor says and what the mayor of Austin says that I think a lot of people are confused on what they could do and what they shouldn't do, and should they stay home or should they go out? Or, I mean, we need to get a consistent message to our consumer and to our residents on how we should go out and handle the community and try to stay in the community and not go to Cedar Park and support the local businesses. But we need to figure out a way of communicating that
Right.
effectively.
By the way, I see that there is a new business that I really wasn't aware of, and apparently they're going in the shopping center, New Navy.
Yeah, they have a really nice shop. Looks very. Sorry, it's the one we used.
Yeah, they're not open yet. I went there today. There's like 2 dresses in the window just to get you going, to be curious. And it doesn't say, it just says opening soon.
Okay.
It's an unusual time for a retail boutique clothing store to be opening in Lago Vista.
Almost any
Yeah,
time
really.
for retail. Yeah.
I'll go check it out too.
I do want to say, Don, I know AT&T does know that we are a big business quarter for them, because when Eric talked to AT&T's phone store, they said we're already serving the Lago Vista area. Now, we are probably too small for an AT&T store, but I do believe that sophisticated companies in Cedar Park do know that they're spending money. We're spending money there, and they are feeling that they serve us.
And I'm sorry, Don, in answer to your question, we have had detailed numbers of the numbers of dollars that Lago Vistans spend on different categories of retail materials or services, and the numbers of dollars that stay in town, which is really pitifully small, and the numbers that go outside. So that information is, I don't know about readily available, but it is available.
Why don't we package that information and go to folks, or go, I don't know. I frankly don't know exactly how to do it, but if we have the information and we're of a sufficient importance, which I think we are, then there should be some way to make it work.
Yeah, and I think it's probably got to be a two-pronged approach. I think you've got to approach the publication itself, but at the same time, you've got to approach the businesses in Cedar Park that advertise in the publication to try and get their support for an expansion in their distribution area. Because there's actually in it for the publication on its own, and you and I have talked about this, they don't charge anything for it.
Right.
And you know, there won't be any more revenue for the publication, but you know, if they see that their advertisers want the publication to be available out here, then maybe there's a chance. And as far as Robin and Facebook is concerned, yeah, that's a great idea. Most of our businesses in town have a good Facebook presence. I think Sun Hardware was a case in point until David left. I mean, he was forever doing his live broadcasts on what was available in Sun Hardware. How you get that coalesced into something that actually benefits more than the individual business, I don't know. Something to think about. I could pass it back to Eric and say Eric's responsible. How about that? Sorry, Eric, I won't do that.
Oh, Eric, you have a new job.
Hey, it's a team effort. So we're a team effort.
Okay, all right. All right, well, yeah, it is a team effort, and maybe we should spend a little bit more time instead of just once a month actually trying to communicate with one another about these different things. You know, just round robin emails is a good starting place, and then if we need to sit and talk like this, I have a Zoom account, believe it or not. So up to 100 of us at any one time can sit around and chat to one another. Okay. I don't have anything further unless anybody wants to put their hand up and say they've got more to input at this time. I'll consider a resolution to say we're done for the day.
And we have our
Eric,
tenant
I'd just like to extend my condolences on the loss of your two family members. I'm very sad to hear that.
Thank you so
So
much.
sorry.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
We are adjourned. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Take care. Bye now.